Is anxiety making you struggle with your breathing? Do you try really hard to breathe deeply but feel like you still can't get enough air? The feeling of air hunger and breathing problems are very common in both anxiety and panic-based problems. In fact, it's probably one of the most common symptoms of anxiety and panic. After watching this video, you'll have an understanding of 3 key reasons for this air hunger. I've helped thousands of patients overcome their anxiety problems, and now I'm here to help you too. So let's get started. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button and the bell to be notified every time I post a video about overcoming anxiety problems. Point 1, physical changes in your body. I'm sure you've heard of the anxiety fight-flight response or the stress response, which gets activated when you feel anxious. This response causes many changes in your body, including your heart rate and your respiratory rate. The stress response leads to the release of hormones like adrenaline and cortisol, both of which affect how you breathe. Let's start with adrenaline, which causes rapid breathing, increasing the rate and depth of breathing in order to deliver more oxygen to your muscles and your brain. Unfortunately, sometimes this excessive breathing can also lead to hyperventilation, which I'll talk a little bit more about shortly. Moving on to cortisol, which also has an impact on your respiratory system. It can cause changes in your diaphragm, which is the muscle responsible for your breathing. It can cause the diaphragm to become less flexible, more tense and rigid, which can make it difficult to take deep breaths. The impact of both of these stress hormones can lead to hyperventilation, which is a type of overbreathing. It doesn't have to be exaggerated breathlessness. Hyperventilation can also be quite subtle, where it wouldn't be visibly obvious that a person is hyperventilating. When you hyperventilate, there is a reduction of carbon dioxide in your bloodstream. This can then worsen any feelings of breathlessness that you already had. Because you feel like you can't breathe properly, you start to breathe more quick and more shallow, which then worsens the problem, because this leads to a build-up of oxygen in your bloodstream and a further reduction in carbon dioxide. Instead, what we need to do is slow down the rate and rhythm of breathing. I'll talk more about how you do that in my next video. Another physical change in your body as a result of the stress response is the tensing and tightening of your muscles. This includes your chest muscles. When these tense and tighten, you can experience a pressure across your chest, which can also make it difficult to take in a full, satisfying breath. Key point 2, over-focusing on your breathing. Anxiety can cause people to over-focus on their breathing. When you do this, it can feel as if you're not breathing properly and that you're not getting enough air. Over-focusing on your breathing can also alter your perception of your breathing. And your breathing then starts to feel less automatic and more odd and unusual. As you move away from automatic breathing to more manual breathing, you start to feel more and more uncomfortable about your breath. Focusing on your breathing can also interfere with your brain's respiratory centers, which are responsible for regulating automatic breathing. When you overfocus on your breathing, you may override the action of these respiratory centers, which can then feel very unusual in your body. As you become more uncomfortable, you become more anxious and therefore focus more on the micro details of your breath. You may focus on the movement of your chest, the flow of air through your nostrils and your mouth. This further interrupts the automatic process of breathing, and everything becomes more conscious and deliberate. And this over-awareness makes breathing continue to feel deliberate and less automatic, and the cycle continues. If you relate to what I'm saying, then hit the like button, and if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. And we're on to the final point, which is point 3, sensitivity to bodily sensations. Anxiety naturally makes people more aware of sensations in their body. This increased sensitivity can lead to a heightened awareness of your breath, which in turn can cause you to feel more anxious and more panicky, which in turn, of course, worsens the problem. You might have a sense of feeling trapped, as if you're suffocating, which is very frightening and can also lead to more anxiety, causing an increase in all the things I've already spoken about. When you notice the sensation of air hunger or breathlessness, it triggers a fear response. And because you are sensitive to this sensation, your mind will be on the lookout for it. You may even consciously scan and check if you're breathing okay. You may even ask yourself, is my breath okay? Does everything feel normal? This is a kind of checking or monitoring which commonly happens in people that have a fear of bodily sensations. Of course, when you're afraid of these bodily sensations, you naturally don't want them to happen. So you may avoid situations that could cause you to experience them. Unfortunately, this is not completely avoidable, so there may be times when you feel a mild sensation. This then triggers a fear response in you, which then causes the whole pattern of breathing to become disturbed. Avoiding activity, exercise or movement that brings on any sensation associated with your breath also increases your anxiety more generally, which means that the problem just remains there in the background. This fear of breathing related sensations is very common in people who have suffered panic attacks. Those people are more susceptible to experiencing sensations of breathlessness, and when they do, because of the history of panic, they tend to catastrophize that sensation, which in turn then leads to anxiety and causes a sensation to exacerbate. This again keeps you stuck in a vicious cycle. The good news is there are lots of things you can do to bring your breathing under control. In this video, I just wanted to concentrate on describing to you the reasons why this happens. And in my next video, I'll share some tips on how to overcome this air hunger breathing problem brought on by anxiety. If you need more information about anxiety, why not take a look at my book, which covers all aspects of overcoming anxiety problems. It's jam-packed with practical tips and how-tos. You'll find the link below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.